The Apostle Paul declared in 1 Corinthians 13:13 that three things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And then he went on said that the greatest of these is love. You know, those three virtues, faith, hope, and love, are the foundational virtues of the Christian faith. But the question is, why is love listed as the most important? Well, faith and hope can be practiced in solitude, alone in your apartment, behind a screen online, watching or viewing. But love must be exercised in society. And it's best done in the context of community. The writer of Hebrews understood this when he talked about these three virtues in Hebrews chapter 10. I want to read to you a little bit from verses 22 through 25. It said, "Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith." He went on and said, "Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering." And then he said, "And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encourage one another all the more as you see the day drawing near." Now, did you see it there? All three of these virtues are mentioned right here in this context of gathering and community. And they're all in the original Greek written in the present tense form, meaning that we must constantly be exercising faith, hope, and love. Yeah, and I want you to catch two other words that are mentioned there: stir up love and good works. Stir up. In other words, that indicates that it doesn't necessarily always happen naturally. It's something that we have to practice and prioritize. And I learned this principle firsthand when I visited Haiti following the 2010 earthquake. I was there leading a missions team, an evangelistic team that had gone there, and we were working outside the capital city of Port-au-Prince. See, following the earthquake, the government deemed most of the homes in the city uninhabitable. So they basically relocated all these families to settlements outside of the city. And literally, they were starting with nothing. They were given a small plot of land, and from there they would have to rebuild and start all over their life. Many of those in the settlements were Jesus followers, were Christians, and they would continue to take the Haitian buses back into the city 10, 15, 20 miles back in so that they could gather with other believers. This wasn't working well. One Sunday, Dad would take some of the kids. Next Sunday, Mom would take some of the kids. And so they went to the pastor and they asked if he would consider planting a church in their new community. And he agreed to do that. And our team was there to help plant that church so they could gather together in their community. That moved me so much to see the desire that they had to gather together and the lengths that they would go to continue to practice that habit. They were all in for gathering. Today, many people today, we view church as, well, do I really need it anymore? I can watch it online. How important is it? But church, the text that we see in Hebrews, it reveals to us that church isn't so much about what I can get, but really what I can give, what I bring to the church, what I bring to the gathering. See, the emphasis here is not what I can get from the church gathering, but what I can give and what I can bring. And I don't want you to miss verse 25, the back end of it. It says, "But encourage one another all the more as you see the day drawing near." What day? The day of the Lord, the day of the Lord's return. Our main motive for being all in for gatherings needs to be the second coming of Christ. To stop gathering is to stop encouraging and helping others follow Jesus. In Acts chapter 2, we see that the early believers gathered together daily in the temple, it says. And they were growing spiritually through teaching and prayer, sharing all that they had with one another. Our world today is not that much different from their pagan world. False teachings, human need all around us. But this is why we need to be all in for gathering. We need to be all in for gathering because we want to continue to grow in our relationship with Jesus. We must be all in to love and encourage one another. And we must be all in to faithfully do the good works of Jesus. See, as we draw closer to the end times, we're going to face struggles and greater persecution. But difficulties should never be an excuse for neglecting to gather together as the body of Christ. Rather, as difficulties increase, that should cause us to make even a greater effort to be all in for gathering. You know, I'm convinced, church, that Satan today is telling us to stay away, but Jesus is calling us to come together.